welcome. You guys know me. I'm Cedric Phillips, TeamStarCityGames.com. You probably know this guy too. Hall of Famer, not Hall of Famer elect anymore, just Hall of Famer. Huey Jensen, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I sat over your shoulder. You guys are going to see I got my iPad here, a little cheat sheet. So I sat over his shoulder for the first booster draft. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to review and see exactly how this went, because right now he's sitting at 2-0. You're pretty happy with your deck.
I am, yeah I like it.
Pretty pleased. And as I was sitting over his shoulder, he's got pretty good reason to be happy because things ended up going quite well for him. First pick, he opens up his pack. He takes a look at Agent of Fates. You also see a Pharika's Cure. You see the 3/3 Wall of the Phalanx, and then a Horizon Chimera. Now, you took the Agent of Fates.
Yeah.
That's, the black heroic card. It's kind of interesting because when you think of heroic, you think of white-blue, you think of white-red. This one, it's definitely got some upside if you can trigger it. So how do you feel about this? Like, is this like a windmill pick for you?
Out of that pack, it was.
Okay.
I mean, there are some really good uncommons in the set, but the good thing about it is you don't really need to trigger it. Like a 3-mana 3/2 Death Touch is pretty good.
Sure.
And oftentimes black decks can't trigger it that much. I mean, you have the 2-mana 1/1 Bestow, Baleful Eidolon.
Okay.
You can throw that guy on there. Sometimes even if you have a black-blue deck, you can start casting Voyage's End on your own.
Yeah, sure.
Your own agent.
Nice.
I mean, I've done that. But it's just a really solid, good. I mean, it's better than solid. It's a very good card, but I wouldn't call it a bomb.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're happy to start there.
Yeah.
Next pick, we end up taking Lash of the Whip. That's the -4/-4 for 5 mana. A removal spell that, obviously removal is good and limited, but it's a removal spell that seems like it's, not as good as it seems on the surface, but certainly playable.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's not a bomb. It's not. I wouldn't call it a great card, but it's a good card.
Okay.
I definitely would play a couple in my deck. Okay. I'm playing a couple in my deck.
Yeah, I think you have 2?
Yep.
Okay.
And oftentimes it can. The problem with it is oftentimes you spend 5 mana to kill their 3-drop.
Sure.
But whatever. Sometimes you need to kill their 3-drop.
Yeah.
So.
Got to do if you're getting beat down.
Yeah.
Another removal spell that you end up having is Pharika's Cure. I know you have 3 of these.
3 of those. Yeah, I really like those. Especially. I keep losing the die roll and not being too upset about it.
Okay.
Because they play their 3-drop, I get to cure it end of turn if it's a Wingsteed Rider or whatever, and then start developing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very powerful and gain 2 life. Ended up being pretty relevant in my deck.
Turns out next pick, we're segueing pretty well here because next pick is Read the Bones.
Yeah.
So that's the card drawer with Scry 2, lose 2 life. Like a really nice role player in this kind of deck because you're more of a control strategy. You want to be able to draw some cards. Scry is obviously powerful, and then Pharika's Cure is going to kind of mitigate that 2 life loss. So we're basically looking at an upside divination here.
That and the fact that I can cure on turn. If I'm on the draw, I can cure turn 2, Read the Bones turn 3, and not discard.
Yeah. Oh, that's like the dream.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic start.
Yep.
Follow-up cards in that pack. You got another Pharika's Cure. One of the things that was really interesting, outside of the Disciple of Phalanx was a Glare of Heresy that you picked up 7th, 8th pick.
Yeah.
Because you were mostly black.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out where you're going to go for a second color. If things work out perfectly, I think you're going to be mono black.
Yeah.
But you're looking for a second color. Maybe it's blue, maybe it's white, not sure yet. But you get the Glare, and I saw you take that kind of early when we saw another one come around late in the draft too.
Yeah.
Really good sideboard card.
Yep. Well, I had so much black at the time, and I was getting good cards so late. Like I got like a 7th pick cure or something.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that black might just be really open.
Yep.
And if I ended up really heavy black, if I played 20 black cards and even 3 blue cards, if I have 1 good white card, Glare is good enough against white that I can just take the blue out and put the white in. So I definitely took it a little aggressively because I think it's just so powerful after sideboard, and it really worked out. I played against 2 white decks so far, and I ended up with 2 Glares. So
okay,
yeah.
That works out fantastic.
Yeah.
The rest of the pack 1, pretty irrelevant. We move into pack 2. This is a fun part of the draft. So I'm standing over his shoulder. He opens his pack, and every time you put the rare in the back, I like to slow roll myself too when I open a pack. So he slides through there, a couple uncommons, whatever, and then we see Whip of Erebos, and I say, all right, we're off to a pretty good start here. Now, when you're taking the card, you almost slam it, but then you put the pack back up so you can kind of review it a little bit. Whip, a pretty easy pick there.
I know I was going to take it. The thing about Whip of Erebos that's interesting, like the activated ability isn't even that relevant. Like it comes up, but like it's almost like 2 black and 2. All your creatures have lifelink is so good. in this format. Like, plus it's a non-creature permanent that gets devotion, which is also good if you live. Ultimately, if you live the dream of getting Grey Merchants and Disciples and any other Black Devotion rare gods that you might happen to get open or passed or whatever.
Maybe we're foreshadowing, maybe we're not. Who knows? So, you get the Whip. You end up taking a Lash of the Whip second again. And this part of the draft is a little bit interesting because third pick you end up taking a Lightning Strike, and you're still kind of searching for a second color. You had the Glare, and then not any really relevant blue cards. And then you get the Strike third. I see you take that over a Cavern Lampade and a Wave Crash Triton. What do we think about the Strike? Just a removal spell?
Yeah, I mean, it's Probably the best common card in the
Okay.
set, and like I said, I thought I was going to get a ton of black in pack 3, and I opened the whip, so I know I'm going to play really heavy black.
Okay.
I would love to play mono, but you know, it's maybe not that realistic. So if I'm going to end up playing 3 cards of a color, I'm fine to just take a couple good cards of various colors and then fill it in at the end when I realize what card that's going to be if I need to.
Okay.
And Lightning Strike is just so powerful that I felt there. And there were no good black cards, and although I had the what's it called, Shipbreaker Kraken.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's not going to put me in blue or whatever.
Sure.
So I definitely think Lightning Strike was the pick there. I would have taken a lot of black cards over it, but I think there were like literally none.
Okay. After that, we take an Erebos Emissary. Fantastic card,
Yeah, great
obviously.
card.
Pretty easy pick. And then this is where things start to get a little interesting because now he gets past a 5th pick Triad of Fates. And this, I don't know if this solidified you in white, but it certainly gives you a reason to move that direction.
Yeah, the same thing. I mean, I have 12 or whatever black cards at this point. No real second color. The Triad's super powerful. I have the Glare for the sideboard already, so I take the Triad, and if I end up playing white, it's going to be a really powerful card in my deck. Also, it combos very well with Grey Merchant and Disciple of Phynax.
Okay.
Just blink it, drain you for 6, blink it. It's slow, but it's effective.
You can get in board states
Yeah.
like that. It's
Yep.
like, the format, it varies on how fast and slow it is depending on the matchups. So you end up getting that card, and at this point, you get the other Glare of Heresy 13th pick, I think.
Yep.
Either 12th or 13th pick, super late in pack 2, and it feels like now you're solidified now.
Well-
You're going to be probably black-white at this point?
I mean, the Glare of Heresy won't put me into main deck white, really.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I'm more likely to take a white card because I don't have to board out a color to board in my glares, but it doesn't necessarily solidify me. Like, if I, had opened, Stormbreath Dragon, I probably would have taken it and played that in my Lightning Strike and
Okay.
then, boarded in the glares if I felt like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We move on to pack number 3. You open up the Prophet of Crufix. That's the blue-green Teferi Seedborn Muse. That card's insane.
Card is insane, yeah, but I looked and I thought for a second if I could splash it, but it was just unrealistic.
Okay, so we have to end up passing that. You took the Alseid, the Observant Alseid. Didn't seem like you were thrilled about it as a first pick.
No, that pack was really, really weak,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought that was the card that I was most likely to play. There was no good black card, and I have the Triad. There were no really good red cards that meshed well with my deck, so I took that. Also, in part because it does trigger the Agent of Fates, so. I think the bestow creatures in general are just really powerful too.
Now I know that watching you draft and talking to you after the draft, the entire time you were just hoping, one time can I get a Grey Merchant?
Yes.
Now you don't get that devotion card, but he does get a different one. He does actually get past Erebos, the Black God 2nd pick. Seems like a pretty easy pick at this point. It looks like it's going to be on a lot of the time.
It was a pretty easy pick. I still would have taken a Grey Merchant over it. But
Okay, that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, but it is very good in my deck. I had it active just in the last round. It's like not an easy card to beat. Like 5/7 indestructible.
Yeah. How many times do you use it? Like the ability on it. So it's like kind of controversial. 2 life feels like a lot for a card.
I didn't use it because I was playing against a red-white heroic deck and I was in control, but a little bit low on life, so I didn't want to risk anything.
Okay.
We were sort of racing towards the end, but versus other decks, it's going to be better than against a red-white aggro deck. The ability.
Other stuff that happened in the pack, you got another Disciple, you got a Viper's Kiss, you get the Scholar, the white card with the black
Scholar's
activation.
great,
That
yeah.
card's really, really strong. Other than that, you took some Steeds, some Tutus, some Grizzly Bears, Failure Curve, stuff like that. But
Yep.
the power of your deck seems like it's really high, and overall, it seems like you're pretty pleased with where you're at.
I'm happy, yeah. 2-0 at a Pro Tour really can't get much better than that. So,
Anybody in your pod that maybe, is there a deck that you feel like you passed around the table, like a really good heroic deck or something that you're kind of scared of as you're walking into this next match?
No, not really. I mean, Marcio Carvalho was in my pod. He was feeding me. I played against Dennis Rashid last round.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of good things about him recently.
A couple
so,
Pro Tour top 8s.
yeah. So, I've already played him. So, those were the only 2 guys I really recognized.
Okay. Well, Huey Jensen, the Hall of Famer, is off to a fantastic start so far. He's got a really good deck. We're going to see if he can get to 3-0 with that, and then it's constructed time. You feeling confident there too?
I'm excited.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to follow Huey over the course of the draft. We'll bring you more coverage up to the minute. Here's Team StarCityGames.com. For Huey, I'm Cedric. We'll see you guys out there.
Later, guys.